Welcome back to Bronco Sports Weekly. I'm Sean Fagan, back from my basketball season-length hiatus, ready to give you the best in Western Michigan athletics. Let's take a look at what happened this past weekend. The Western Michigan hockey team captured its first conference championship in over 25 years on Saturday, defeating the Michigan Wolverines 3-2 in the final of the CCHA tournament played at Joe Louis Arena. Just 24 hours earlier, the Broncos dominated the Miami Redhawks in the semifinal round, besting Miami 6-2 at the Joe. Freshman goaltender Frank Slabowski was named the tournament MVP. Your nationally ranked gymnastics team competed for a MAC regular season championship against Central Michigan last weekend, but the Broncos were unable to keep up with the Chips at Mount Pleasant. Broncos finished the regular season with a 4-2 record in MAC competition this year, and they will be at the MAC championships at Northern Illinois this weekend. The women's tennis team returned from spring break for a pair of matches in North Carolina, splitting their weekend with a 5-2 win over Davidson and a tightly contested 4-3 loss to Charlotte. Women's tennis coach Betsy Kuhle has 499 career wins and will be looking for number 500. That would make her just the second coach in Western Michigan history to do so this weekend against Northern Illinois. We'll check in with Coach Kuhle a little bit later. The softball team went 3-1 this past weekend to continue their recent hot streak, defeating Delaware, Norfolk State, and LaSalle. The Broncos have been on fire as of late, winning 8 of their past 10 games. They'll be back in action next Tuesday when they travel to South Bend to take on Notre Dame. Baseball dropped a weekend series with Evansville in heartbreaking fashion, with both losses coming by just 1 run. However, the win on Saturday had a few notable highlights, including the performance of Steve Laudicina, who allowed just 1 run in 6 innings in the Broncos' 5-1 victory. Laudicina has given up just 1 run in his past 13 innings pitched. Also notable this past weekend, sophomore outfielder Vinnie Booker hit his first career home run. Women's golf took part in the Pinehurst No. 6 Challenge this past weekend, but the team was forced to pull out early due to weather concerns. They'll be back in action on April 14th through the 15th at the Indiana Invitational. And finally, the Bronco men's tennis team swept a doubleheader against Ferris State and Chicago State yesterday, defeating both teams by scores of 7-0. The win over Chicago State gives the Broncos their first conference win of the season as they begin in earnest their defense of their 2011 MAC regular season title. I am joined now by Western Michigan Athletics Hall of Famer, head women's tennis coach Betsy Kuhle. She has a big milestone possibly coming up this week as she goes for her 500th win against Northern Illinois. But before we get to that, Coach Kuhle, let's talk a little bit about this past weekend. The team competed well, taking on Davidson and Charlotte, splitting the weekend series. Who played well?
Well, I think you got to look at Caroline Alec. She's on fire, and she's really exceeding all expectations for her as a freshman. We're really pleased with her.
You know, you brought in Kathleen Hawkins in the offseason as well. She went 4-0 this past weekend, took both of her doubles matches, won a couple matches at No. 5 singles as well.
Yeah, Kathleen's starting to come into her own. We're still in a process. She got a little injured at the beginning of the year, and so we weren't really quite sure what she was capable of, but I think she really is starting to mesh a little bit.
Well, let's talk about the news that's on everybody's minds right now. Obviously, at 499 career wins, I know you probably don't want to talk about it right now, but taking on Northern Illinois in the MAC opener this weekend, and you have the opportunity to do something that only one other coach in Western Michigan history has ever accomplished, and that's reach 500 career wins.
Well, I guess it's an exciting thing, and it's good to write about, but for me it's more about the MAC season starting, and we play 7 or 8 months of the year getting ready for a 5-week span, and we're just excited to get started with our MAC season, and we're 100% lineup, so that's going to be exciting.
You look at the things that you've accomplished over the course of your career, you know, a number of MAC championships, the 500 career wins, etc. What is the most exciting accomplishment, or what is the accomplishment that you're most proud of here at Western Michigan?
Well, you've got to look to our graduation rate. I mean, we've graduated every player but one over the course of my 30 years, and that's number one for sure, because they are here to get an education. And I think secondly, as I've gone down these 30 years, I'm really excited about the relationships that I have now with former athletes. I just heard from one yesterday, and we just, you know, it's really nice. I think that part's good. They had good experiences here, and they look back and realize that it was hard work, but in the same token, all the life lessons they learned.
It is nice to come to these matches on different weekends and seeing some of your former student athletes say, oh, I was in the area, thought I'd catch the match. It seems like you do get a lot of those that stay connected with the program.
Well, I think that's true, and the other piece of it is that I have always tried to get some of our local talent. You know, we currently have 4 players from the Western Michigan area and 4 players that are in our lineup, and I'm really proud of that.
Well, let's take a look at MAC play. Obviously, Northern Illinois, the start of that, and you've never finished lower than 3rd in MAC play in your career here at Western Michigan. What challenges does Northern Illinois provide your team?
Well, I think just being a MAC opener is probably the biggest challenge for us. You know, we're very anxious and excited to get started on it. We had a little bit different game plan this year, and most of our game plan was to really concentrate on learning and getting better until actually this Friday. And this Friday, we're going to do whatever it takes to get ourselves a win.
It has been nice to watch the arc of this team this year. It seems like once they got it going, the team's been playing really well over the past 3 or 4 weeks.
I think we're playing well. We've had a few missing ingredients. Jill Pastunek's illness was kind of a real thing for us to bear, but you know, she's back. She's 100%, and we're really looking forward to having her in the lineup.
All right, Coach. Well, good luck this weekend, and hopefully we'll see you reach that milestone.
Thanks, Sean.
All right, let's take a look at 5 things to watch this weekend. Number 5, track and field heads down south to open the 2012 outdoor track season at the Georgia Relays. The Broncos will look to build on their 3rd place finish at the MAC Indoor Championships, and with their depth in the hurdles and the sprints, I think they should be able to do it. Number 4, baseball opens up MAC season play this weekend at home with a 3-game series against Bowling Green. First pitch scheduled for 3 p.m. on Friday and 1 p.m. on both Saturday and Sunday. Hopefully this run of clear weather will hold up and you can make it out to the ball yard to catch the Broncos and the Falcons. Number 3, gymnastics will travel to DeKalb to compete at the 2012 MAC Gymnastics Championships. The Broncos just narrowly missed out on a regular season championship last week in Mount Pleasant against Central Michigan, but will have the opportunity to win the big prize this weekend. And as for these last 2 items, it's very hard to place one or the other, so let's call them 1A and 1B. The women's tennis team will open their MAC season on Friday against Northern Illinois, with head coach Betsy Kuhle looking to secure her 500th career victory. To put that in perspective, only one other coach of any sport at Western Michigan has ever won 500 career games. Hopefully we'll be ending a special moment in Kalamazoo. And elsewhere, the men's hockey team, of course, going to the NCAA tournament for the 2nd year in a row. They'll take on North Dakota in St. Paul on Friday. The Broncos just steamrolled Miami and held on for a victory against Michigan to secure their spot in the NCAA tournament. Could a tournament victory be on the way? I guess the only way you'll be able to find out, catch the game on TV. It'll be on CW7 here in Kalamazoo. And that will do it for us on the Bronco Sports Weekly this week. Make sure you join us again next week. Same Bronco time, same Bronco place.